Hello, trade pros. Good morning. Welcome to our morning market update. Hope you have had a great. I hope you've had a great day. And I know it's just starting, but let's get into it today. We got quite a bit to cover. Let's jump into the first thing in the morning today. S&P's down 0.5%, Nasdaq down 0.7, Russell down 0.3 of a percentage point. Markets in Europe also in the red. Stock 600 down as well as DAX. Dollar index down 0.1%. No real big mover though, just down slightly. Oil is up 1.2. Brent oil is up 1.3. Gold is up 1%. New all-time high, the 4,640 an ounce. Gold is just melting. It's schmelted. It's getting hot and it's just taking off. Silver's new all-time high is 91.57. Bitcoin's up 2%. Ethereum's up 5%. Non-equity assets seem to be doing pretty good. Precious metals, energy sector, and the crypto space is okay. Equities are down. Okay, so today the big report was PPI. PPI stands for Producer Price Index. PPI sounds like a type of gun James Bond would have. Just shows up with a PPI and just takes care of business. But it's not in this case. It's Producer Price Index. We had it for November. It's the makeup report for the canceled October report. All right, and so this is the data that was a little bit late. Like realistically, November's kind of over. We're done with November, right, in life. And it was last year, but it's still interesting to see. That's why I don't think the market reacted much. This is how PPI came out. Let me open up the screenshot I took of it. So PPI came out month over month for October at 0.1% versus 0.3%. And then for November, there's a combined report for 2 months. November came out at 0.2% versus expected of 0.2%. So, inflation slightly hotter than expected based on PPI. Okay, retail sales for November were higher than expected. That's a good report. I won't really get into too much detail on retail sales, but the November numbers were good on retail and pretty interesting on PPI. This is why it's interesting because X food and energy, if you remove food and energy, it was at 3.5%. All right, with food and energy, it was higher. Okay, now look at this. Some of the components of the PPI feed into what's called the CPE, which feed into the Fed's preferred inflation indicator, which is the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index. It's a mouthful. The Fed loves mouthfuls, don't they? But it feeds into that index. So a lot of these things were interesting to look at, the subcomponents, just for how that kind of goes into the Fed's narrative for the next meeting. But the problem is, this is old data. We know that. October, November, long time ago. That's fine. But over 80% of the November increase of inflation is getting traced into prices for final demand energy, which jumped 4.6%, almost a 5% jump in final demand energy. The perplexing thing is, what energy are they talking about? And when this report was, quote unquote, supposed to be happening, the energy prices were dumping, and pretty severely too. So I don't know where this increase came from, to be 100% honest with you. It's kind of a mystery this morning. And that in itself is more interesting than the actual headline number. I'll leave you with that. All right, Citigroup this morning comes out. EPS 181 versus 168. Revenue 21 billion versus 20.55. That's great. That's a beat. Net income interest for 26 for FY26 is up 5%. The expectation, that's good. Bank of America, whoop whoop, Q4 2025, EPS at 98 cents versus 96. Revenue up 28.4 versus 27.5. NIM, net interest income, is up. It's NII actually. I'm just looking at it here. Fixed income commodities is lower. So yeah, I mean that's not good. But it's up 1% pre-market. It's still a beat on the top line. Pretty impressive. All right, Wells Fargo, last one that reported today. We have banks reporting heavy earnings, which is usually the beginning to the kickoff of the earnings season. And this is no different. You're going to hear a lot of companies being talked about next little bit. focuses on earnings. EPS $1.62 versus 166. Wells Fargo misses. Revenue 21.3 versus 21.6. And they miss on the revenue number. And they didn't do good. They're down 1% pre-market. In other news, NVIDIA chips, the H200 chip is banned by China. This escalates. China's custom authorities told agents this week that NVIDIA H200 AI chips are not allowed to enter China. Is this forever or is it temporary? We don't know. We're never going to know these days. Not knowing is the commodity of knowing nowadays. So we don't know if it's a formal thing or a temporary thing. But tech companies are told that by the government to avoid purchasing these chips unless absolutely necessary. Right? This is kind of heating up and escalating with obviously tensions with the U.S. and China. Crypto surging for no apparent reason. I like it. It's up. Commodities this week are up. Strong gains in commodities. And so now it's time to tell you the story of the markets and build the trading plan for today. Review yesterday and yesterday's trading plan. Let's turn around and get into the charts. See ya on the other side. All right. Good morning, Mikey. Triangle trading floor. Pardon me. OTM. What's up? William, what's up? My voice is still shaky. I can't stop coughing. I don't know what's going on with me. This might be the end, guys. Just kidding. I'll survive for a little bit longer. Okay, there's the notes that I kind of look at. You guys saw it. Okay, let's talk about the story. So yesterday we had some pre-market buyers in yesterday's trading session. All right, and here they are. You can see these lines. So I get excited for the long side, obviously. And, this never happens. Ask my wife. But I was actually wrong yesterday on the bias. It didn't matter because we still did good. But the bias here for the pre-market trade was on the long side. Now, I kind of like the CPI little pop and drop going into it. Things were looking bullish. Things were exciting. I had my flip zone at 7,002. All right, and then I kind of got along on these rotations, got paid once, and got stopped out on the balance below this buying balance level. Down we go. All right, so CPI report rejected the swing higher because it faded right down. The U.S. market opened at 17.5. We sold off down into the 69.84 into our first support level. Okay, this is the one I'm talking about. And then we retested right back up to the buying balance stacks. Like, if you needed some kind of, oh my goodness, these buying balances have importance, reading or tool or foreshadowing, take a look at that. All right, this happens so often, right? Where these buyers couldn't hold the initiated upside move, ends up being resistance on the way up, which makes a lot of sense. All right. Then we drove lower one more time to go in and form the day session low here. 69.76 3/4 is the day session low. A little bit of a rally into the closing bell. Didn't really make a difference because we closed at 7,002 half, right into the flip zone for yesterday. So yesterday's flip zone was at a good area and I liked it, but it had a little bit of give to it, a little bit of wiggle. So what I'm here to tell you today is, but wait a minute. Before we do that, overnight what happened, the high of the overnight session basically couldn't even exceed the close on the U.S. session. What that means is we opened and we immediately went down without having any upward look at all. One rotation, we broke below this level and then rallied and hammered it down into the real level, into this like 63 to 68 zone. You can see it has a little line here on my chart. This is what I'm talking about. And we just pulled up a little bit, but we're not too far off of it now and driving into the low. So what happened basically, in summary, yesterday we opened, we tried to head fake higher, we drive to the low, we close off the low. Overnight we open, we head even lower below the prior day low. All right, and it's bearish. Basically, I'm trying to get you to say, oh, that looks like we're going to be bearish today. It's pretty bearish. And the flip zone, you could use the 88. I don't like it. I don't like the 88 because yesterday's bearishness wasn't really didn't look temporary. It looked pretty serious. And so I don't want to do 88. I don't want to buy above 88. I really like to get back above the 02, which is where really price failed, retested, and held for the continuation lower. So 02 and above is going to be my long area. Everything under there, I'm going to stay short unless I find a miraculous fade opportunity on a crazy order flow trade. I'm going to try to stay on the short side today, which means as we open up into the session, I'm going to look for rallies to sell into. Where are those levels? Well, I'm going to mark them right now for you. 69.80 looks like a nice one. Why? Because you have some delta stacks here. My voice is about to give up, by the way, guys. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. The stupid cold that I brought from Canada is not helping me. 69.80, then 69.88. You have some nice delta confluences there. That will be the second one. 69.95. I really like this level. And then last but not least, the flip zone itself, 702. So does this mean I'm going to keep shorting all day long and this thing rallies and I lose every trade and my entire account on the way up? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It means these four levels are areas of which make sense. Let's see what the order flow comes out like. The only way I could see myself getting super long is to see it break a lot of sell volume. It starts to look bullish on order flow down here. And I take it as a fade, which is a counter momentum trade. And then it somehow, and find myself holding it as it just rallies without common sense, right? That's where I'm at. ES yesterday, 1.379 million contracts. That's better. Okay, that's better than the day before it, which was pathetic. So we are starting to build up some volume into ES for the year. Still historically, by historic standards, low on the volume for ES. So let's see what we get. You guys have the flip zone. You have the levels. I'm going to go rest my voice a little bit. I'm going to see you guys soon. Love you all so much. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Appreciate you. Take care and have a great rest of your day. Got a huge announcement coming on Monday, so be sure to take that in. All right, take care, guys. Broncolin syrup may help your voice. I'm going to look into it. OTM, appreciate you. Broncolin. Sounds like bronchitis. Ain't no one got time for that. Just kidding, bro. Thank you so much. All right, Mikey, see you in the room. Take care, guys. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Love y'all.